gender, welcome back to my channel. This is the first episode of Shoe Designers You Need to Know, and I'm very excited to introduce Katrien Herdewyn from Elegnano for our first episode. Why don't you introduce yourself a bit?
Hi, I'm Katrien Herdewyn, like they say it in English. I'm the founder of Elegnano. It's a footwear brand, surprise, surprise. I started in 2014 and I'm originally from Belgium.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for collaborating with me to start.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Cool. So this series is about the story of shoe designers and their brand, if they have one. It's about the past, the present, and the future. So we're gonna discover everything about our guest. So if you don't want to miss any future content around shoes or gender, any new episode of this series, make sure to subscribe down below, like the video, and comment about what you think of the video. If you have any new questions for Katrien, make sure to write that down in the comments. Okay, so the first question, can you introduce yourself a bit?
I am Katrien Herdewyn. I was born in 1987, so I'm 32 years old right now. I've always had a passion for shoes as a kid, but it kind of deviated into a more scientific background during my studies because my parents supported me, pushed me more in that direction, but my passion for shoes always stayed. So over the years, I started buying more and more shoes with all the money that I had. And from a very extensive shoe collection, I ended up deciding to go study footwear design. So I studied footwear design at SUSK in Sint-Niklaas in Belgium. And when I graduated, I decided to start my own footwear brand. And that is Elegnano. I still have the company today, so that was almost 5 years ago in October 2014. And now I work from Belgium. I sometimes work from the United States. I travel between the two places and my shoe collection still exists. I launch new collections every year and they're produced in Italy.
Yeah, okay. So the brand is called Elegnano. Where does the name come from?
Elegnano comes from two words that were smashed together, being elegance and nanotechnology, and it works in different languages, in Dutch and French as well. And then pronounced the Italian way, because on one hand, I didn't want to take my own name because it's really hard to pronounce, and then it's really attached to you as a person, and I wanted a little more of a distance between me and the brand. So I was looking for another name, and then Elegnano just came up, and now people think it is my last name, but I like it that I still like it to this day. People don't really know what it is. It's not a word. It doesn't immediately ring a bell, but once you know what it stands for, people kind of remember. And in Dutch and Flemish, it's sometimes hard to pronounce, but I notice on international level that people really get the name and the GN immediately, that is how you would say it. So.
Yeah. So for the viewers that don't know what nanotechnology is, can you explain that in a few sentences?
Nanotechnology takes place at a very small scale. So a nanometer compared to a meter is like a blueberry compared to the Earth. So it's like very, very small. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but it's there. So even the laws of physics and chemistry, the ones that we know, they behave differently. They change at that scale. So you can almost create a new material at the surface of another material. So in nanotechnology, all those different fields, chemistry, physics, they all come together and new things can be developed. So for the technology for my shoes, for example, I looked at what flowers can do, even what sharks and butterflies can do. repel water and how that works on the microscopic scale, even on a nanoscopic scale, how they keep water away, and then use nanotechnology to mimic that on a leather surface.
Yeah.
So the result is that the characteristics of a material change without their appearance has changed.
What would you say is the DNA of the brand? How does it distinguish itself from the others?
The DNA from Elegnano is really what we use in the tagline: float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So you can be elegant, but that doesn't mean you can be resilient at the same time. You can wear stilettos if you want to. It doesn't mean they have to be uncomfortable and you have to be wobbly and vulnerable. So it's really like being elegant and refined and feminine, but at the same time being very powerful and stand your ground.
Yeah, who is the target customer? Who do you design for?
I design Elegnano for business women mostly. Like, they don't really have to work in business necessarily, just women that they have a job, they have a family, they try to combine everything, and they also want to take care of themselves. So a combination of the working woman, even if working is making sure your entire household is kept together. So it's really for those women who run around and try to make it work in this world, and at the same time want to be feminine and chic and elegant.
Yeah. What does your creative process look like? How do you start? How do you get from the idea to the actual final product?
For me, designing is something that happens not on a schedule around the clock. I take the train a lot, I travel a lot, I take planes a lot, and I just always have like a sketchbook or something with me. And then I'll draw things. A lot of my designs actually don't start from the idea of a shoe, they start from other drawings, and then I see a pattern in them, and then they'll become the pattern of a shoe. So it's really something that happens along the way. And then when I'm happy with something, I'll take it out and see how it could really work in reality. I start playing with patterns on the last, trying different things, see what kind of foot would work for it, because if you look at our collection, the shoes have cutouts in different places, and it's also to fit different kind of feet. Everyone, although they're all made on the same last, depending on where your little sores are on your feet, or where it's wider, narrower, and all that stuff, different shoes will fit you better. So I try to have like a variation in the collection that will work for different types of feet, different kind of women. So then I'll usually, if I have a design that I like, I'll see how what can work. Sometimes there was a piece there and then I cut it out just to change it up a little bit. So then it's a process of more draping on the last, seeing what will work and what won't. And then I make a first technical sketch that I then will discuss with the factory to see if we can make it work. Because sometimes you try to do things that look good in a prototype or in your first attempt at it, but when you really need to get all the stuff in there that need to be there in a shoe, it's not straightforward anymore to make it work. So then we'll work around any practical and logistical issues to really get to a design. And once it's a prototype, I'll test it. I'll have friends test it, and when I'm happy with it, we'll probably produce it.
During the process of starting the brand, like you have been doing the brand for 5 years now, what was the biggest obstacle and how did you overcome that?
The biggest obstacle, I think, is keeping yourself motivated, especially in the beginning, because launching You have to follow the sales cycle in the sense that you can't design a shoe today and expect it on the market tomorrow. Especially as a starting designer, a starting brand, you're at the back of the funnel at factories. You don't have a large quantity, so you're not a priority. But if you want to deliver to stores, you have to be on time. You can't be a month late. There is only a 6-month sales cycle. So to get into that process in the first year and a half, you barely have any income. You're just putting your vision and your heart into a brand, trying to create something and then hoping that people will like it. Of course, you can test it, but it's not really like a minimum viable product or any of those real business things. It's a design, it's taste, it's will people like it or not. It's really hard to predict that. So the first year is really hard, or was harder for me, because you don't really know. You're just hoping it will work out, and you're working really hard. You don't see any money coming in. You're just spending it. So that is for me was a tougher time to once you see the response from your customers and they're happy, it goes. You know what works and what doesn't work. I only started with 4 models, so to have like an idea, they were quite different, but they were all made on the same last, so I could test a little bit what works, what doesn't work, and still building on the brand, not taking too many risks. And then gradually build the size of the collection.
What's next? What does the future look like for you as a shoe designer and for the brand?
I think now that, first years you really build a brand and an identity, and now I feel more confident in it. So I'm trying to experiment and do new things with it that are less known as Elegnano, so kind of deviating from it while still keeping the identity. So I'm currently working on a men's collection. That will be the first time that we do that. There will also be a small collection for women again, but then a little different from what it used to be. So I think that's mostly for me. I'm expanding the brand internationally. We're not selling in stores, but just trying to network outside of Europe, outside of Belgium, in the United States, in Asia, to slowly build like brand ambassadors and fans of the brand outside of Europe as well. I'm wearing Tina. It's something between a boot and a pump. That's a tough question, because I haven't bought any shoes in the last 4 years.
Really?
Yes, I always wear my own brand. Let me think. I always really appreciated Ellen Verbeek's. She's also a Belgian designer. Yeah, I always really liked her style and the way she goes with classic and modern. Around 250.
Okay.
I'm always proud when my customers wear it, and I'm actually more proud when I know that they have difficult feet or they have difficulty wearing high heels and they can wear Elegnano. So that's where I'm proud of the fact that everyone, not celebrities, just my customers can wear them and are happy to wear them. So yeah, I would more say it's not like a certain celebrity that I want to design for, rather than just the ideal customer is somebody, or my ideal woman to design for is somebody who really is not used to it, but really wants to be able to run in heels without having really all that much experience with it, and just feel comfortable in heels. Just make that jump from also younger girls that just start wearing heels, that they get not start that they can wear them and wear them with confidence and feel comfortable in them and not from the get-go have this, oh, heels are so painful, I'm never gonna wear them again. So yeah. Don't start too high. And personally, I don't, I had a lot of platforms myself, but in the beginning, it's actually easier if you start without a platform. You might have to go lower, but then you still have the connection to the floor. You feel it on your toes because you feel the different, the structure in the ground, which is in Europe, unfortunately, usually not flat. So you can lose your balance if you walk around in the city. My favorite part of a shoe is actually the toe box, the points, the front of a shoe. Because that's where a lot of the comfort is going on. It's there where your feet touch the ground. So getting the right shape there is important for somebody to feel comfortable in them. And you can't do that much with them because you need to make sure that your feet stay in place. But I like to experiment with it and find different ways to make them more comfortable or for different types of feet.
As a last question to finish this interview, what would be your advice for aspiring shoe designers?
For aspiring shoe designers and designers in general, I would just say go for it and stick to your own identity. It's really hard because financially it's not the easiest business to start in, but if you're passionate about shoes and shoe design, having your own brand and really being able to design what you love, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're also the person wearing it because you're designing for a customer, you're not designing for yourself. But having your own style, your own identity that you probably developed while you were studying and being able to really put it into something commercial is for me it's really worth it. I can pour my heart into it and get out of it what I want. So I would really say do it and try to find people that support you as well, because you will really need those, especially in the beginning, people that believe in you, because it's really easy, especially if you're creative, to like lose faith in yourself and not being sure if you really can do it. But the end result is getting that box with your prototypes. I think everyone who has his or her own brand will agree with that. Once you get your first prototypes and you see, oh, I've created it, it's different when you make them yourself than when you really see it, how it's made commercially, and you get like a truck, all of your designs that are ready to be sold in all sizes, and it just comes at your office. It's really a feeling that you never forget, and I'm still getting excited when that happens, even after 5 years. So I would say go for it, because if it's your dream, it has to be your dream and your passion, otherwise you won't succeed. But if it is, then go for it and keep going. Yeah,
that's a great piece of advice. Thank you very much for participating in this series. How can we stay in touch with Elegnano?
Elegnano is on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and it's all, you can always find it under Elegnano, so Elegnano.
Okay, cool. I will link everything down below so you can go check out the website and the social media of the brand. That was it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, like, and leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of the video, or if you have any further questions for Katrien, you can ask them down there. Thank you very much. Bye.